Lorin Reed has come down all the way from Wollongong to perform for us tonight. She's absolutely amazing, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. I'll just read her bio quickly. So Lorin's a spoken word poet and co-founder of the monthly Wollongong Poetry Slam at Yours and Ours. She's a creative writing and journalism student and likes to tell stories, take pictures and spend hours learning the lyrics to rap albums. She's like a gangster. She was highly commended at the Sydney heat of the 2012 Australian Poetry Slam and won the September 2012 Word in Hand Slam in Glebe. A true supporter of spoken word culture, she performs from Sydney to Canberra, secured her first feature slot at the Poetry and Wollongong Slam in 2013, April this year, and is an upcoming feature at Word in Hand in August, so please do check her out and support local talent.
I met one of those asylum seekers from the sinking boats. And when I saw him, it was from behind a fence. And he was standing there grabbing at his throat because of all the water that he'd swallowed and all the lies that he's been fed, that are slowly choking him from the inside, in a sense, an innocent prisoner, but we've crushed his pride and no one's trying to listen as he stands there trying to speak, trying to say how much he's missing his firstborn child. For those who've come across the seas, we've boundless plains to share. Just make sure you don't actually come across our seas, because our mottos aren't quite fair. I've seen people tying knots in their kite tails to remind them not to sail, because the winds of Darwin are darkening and the Wizard of Oz might not let you in. She'll choose not to grant you your human rights. Don't intrude, because lately our planes have been bound and there's less space here to move, or to be moved, or to feel emotion. I've a notion that politicking is just a cover-up for time ticking, and each second we wait, another life considered second-rate, just because we were blessed with being born on different soil, blessed with a lack of physical turmoil and left with that subdued sense of guilt, hidden belly felt, given respite in the thought that these people are illegal, just our justification for the damage they've been dealt. And please, forgive my stab at the controversial, but history tends to repeat itself, so it's no wonder that the white people here are scared. Because last time someone came here looking for a better life, that was us, and we stole and massacred from the people of this land. So maybe when we see asylum seekers seeking peace, we see a little of ourselves reflected there. That same fear and desperation we feel when we're late for class, or misplace the keys to one of our 4 cars. That's the same fear instilled in them because their father was just murdered by the Taliban, or they're choking at sea, or they're choking on air behind an electric wire fence, praising their foreign and terrible gods for bringing them here. And he sends me letters from detention where he never fails to mention how maybe one day an Aussie girl will fall in love with a Tamil guy. Is that just so impossible for two born beneath the same fucking sky? And he tells himself it can be true, it must be, 2 cultures complementary, because he left his girl in Sri Lanka and he never wants to see her again. No thank you, because he doesn't want to know the woman that would emerge from that kind of trial. Her head submerged beneath seas of policies and papers and laws, and if she ever made it to the shore with peace of mind. And he welcomed her to come and share this peace of mind. He couldn't bear the pain of forcing her to learn to swim again. Freestyle, arm over arm, playing it by ear, hearing past the cries of babies who cannot be here after 14 hours of treading water and 5 years behind bars. After all that, he still thinks it's amazing, this country of ours. Thank you. Thank you so much. That poem's called Choking on Air, and it was inspired by a true story of a guy I met at Villawood Detention Centre. And the conversation I had with him was really humbling because I was there writing an article. And so the questions I was asking him were kind of like, oh, what was your journey like? I can't believe what happened. Tell me why you left Sri Lanka. And the other side of the conversation was him asking me, like, what do you do on the weekend for fun and what kind of music do you listen to? And it brought me straight back down to earth when I realized in that moment that he was a person pretty much the same as me. He wasn't an entity and he wasn't a political idea. He was a human being. And he's since been released from Villa Woods, which is really cool. So, yeah. My name's Lorin Reed. I'm from Wollongong. Thank you so much for having me here today. All the poets that have got up so far have been freaking amazing. Yeah, I co-founded the Wollongong Poetry Slam, which is the last Saturday of every month if you're ever down in the area. Usually we catch the train up, but tonight my mum is in the crowd and she drove us up. I don't have a poem about mothers, but I thought I'd dedicate the next one to her so she doesn't feel left out. The next one I want to do for you guys is called Church. And I'm not a religious person, but I think I'm a bit of a spiritual person. So this poem was kind of thinking about, you know, the bumper sticker slogan, God is love, sometimes on the back of cars. I was thinking about that and some of the more spiritual moments that I've experienced in my life. So this is Church. If God is love, then I've never felt love before. I've never raised my eyes to the heavens or watched my knees hit the floor. My face rests at the waist level of the devil, but it's kept out of trouble by a pitchfork and high-pitched treble. Apparently death comes in threes: belief, prayer, and loyalty, please. God forgive me, for I know not what to do. Most of us seem lost amongst the few, cradling pages of a book between the pews, empty views and hollow vessels. Mortar and pestle, a couple grains of what is true mixed with freeze frames of mind games, rendezvous, and bathroom floor tiles, cracked in two. Now love. Love is a word I seldom use in poetry, because it's cliche, at least the version that is known to me, and I don't want to repeat my lack of wisdom like a rosary, but a rose is a rose, you know, and any other name would smell as sweet. So God or love, push or shove, worship the lover as we hide beneath bed covers from this God lying above us. The silver cross around his neck lowers its chain to my chest, because sometimes I confuse love with something less, and confuse God with just a man dressed in a robe. Barefoot into the bathroom he strode, floor tiles cracking beneath his toes, Book of Job, and tap water splashing the crown of his frontal lobe. And a sliver of mirror from the ceiling falls as God calls from the ensuite. Not why do the righteous suffer, but how did we first meet? And from that splintered glimmer of reflection, I met my former dereliction and realized that love has always been inside of me. See, I noticed the color purple in a field of green, and I feel the energy of the congregation as they sing. We have soul as a people, but controlling the people is like creating the apple and then suppressing the fall, or is the testament meant as complete metaphor? Dios es amor, I need more to work with God. Hear me roar from the curl of my toes, where honesty in loving shows. And a sleeve worth scrubbing clean of emotion once worn there, but worn down now by cautious care. Love growing between sheets of paper and cotton, caught up in that tangle of pillow talk and prayer. And on the seventh day, I was caught unaware by the room service lady's food tray. Vulnerable and malleable, my thoughts were like soft clay, and his arms were out enveloping pale rays at the railing of a balcony scene matinee, and she can't see him, but I'm left tongue-tied, so I bare my wrists to her guilty. Call it a sin, it's suicide, cut my clay with fishing line, and watch as God and love flow as the artery sprays. My heartbeat a rhyme as my artistry creates a situation out of two words. Two ideologies, two birds with one stone, and if both of them fly away, then we're left alone, and I cannot press my palms together like we've all been shown. Instead, they press against his chest, written in stone, and he raises one eyebrow as the clock tower chimes. But church is in session now, so we've got to leave to be on time. First time I ever heard a spoken word poem, I was studying in the United States where it's pretty big, spoken word poetry. And I was studying with this lecturer who said, guys, I'm going to let you go early from class today. I'm going to give you some money and I want you to go and see this film. So our lecturer paid for our whole class to see a film. He went off back home to his family. And the film was Louder Than a Bomb. And it's about Youth Slam in Chicago. It follows the story of four teenagers who write this freaking amazing poetry. And that was the first time I heard slam. I was sitting in the cinema bawling my eyes out. And I love that such a small thing like a film can change someone's life path so drastically. And that is what I love about things like Bankstown Poetry Slam, that's bringing all these different members of the community together, because I know that one single line from one single poem can change someone's whole direction in life, whether it's only by one small, tiny degree of difference. So thanks for being a part of all this. I thought I'd do a poem about my time in America. So I have this really short one. It's a sonnet, which means it has, I think it's 14 lines. I don't know. I'm not too cool on the specifics, but it's called Harlem Shakes. Because when I was in New York City, I lived there for about 4 weeks, all up, and I stayed in Harlem. Some people reckon that's like the dodgy area of New York City, but I had a lot of fun there. So the sonnet, Harlem Shakes. The hostels were cheaper in Harlem. With cardboarded windows and cereal bowls, I was told to fold into the arms of Harlem, where food stamp signs stuck to shop fronts frosted over with cold. My bed was a tattered mattress on the floor, and dinner was with extra hot sauce, the lost remnants of a renaissance that the chicken wings guy left in a takeaway box outside my door. That door never once opened with its key, but the passwords to pass through Harlem flowed through me as Apollo kicked up this storm after a calm and said, words. Words are the baseline rhythm of 2nd Avenue and 116th, and that explains the Spanish hymns that have started walking through my sleep. And when the hurricane shook Harlem, I saw an old man trying to rake the flying leaves down in the street. I told you that was a short one, some of you didn't believe me. This is going to be my last poem for the night, and I want to thank especially Ahmed, happy birthday, and Sarah for putting on this amazing slam. I haven't missed a single one since it started up, and it's just been growing, and it's so amazing, and I love it, so thank you. Thank you to every poet that's got up so far, and every poet who's about to get up. I know you'll be inspiring as the first half. This is a new poem I'm going to do. I haven't memorized it yet. So I'm going to have to read it, so sorry about that. It's the ex-boyfriend love poem. I think we all have to write one eventually. So thank you so much for having me. It's been amazing. Coming clean. I didn't believe you when you said that she fit better in your arms. A girl more comfortable in her skin, one who knocks and then lets herself in. She was perfect. I agreed, tracing the lifeline on your palms. Sometimes I get scared that I'm not smiling because I'm happy, I'm just smiling because I'm numb. I've misplaced a couple feelings and lost the feeling in my tongue. And when words are all I have, I need to speak to loose the stitches in my lips, to come undone. We used to sit on the edge of the bathroom sink after barefoot beach walks, talking about how amazing sand is, and sticking our cold feet into hot water, faces candid and so close, but only our kneecaps would touch, and that was enough. Now I fall in love with people I don't know, on trains that are usually traveling in the opposite way. My lips are cracked like the pavement, like pepper, like parched earth parting to trap unwary prisoners. My cheeks are aching and my eyes are dry, trying to keep up appearances. That day I cursed myself, saying I'd never love again, and then split my heart into infinitives, a million different fragments that I spread across the land. So I'm looking for someone with some sticky tape and a fossicking pan to sift through my memories and pick out the ones I've hidden, and to understand that I haven't cracked in 4 times 365 days, so please forgive me if I do now. I loved how you were brave. Brave enough to hold out your hand to me, unsure if I could take it. All the forced smiles and turned styles, hiding kisses and abstaining, but I did. And when our fingers locked, your thumb always went over the top, because otherwise it felt weird. I kept every single movie ticket stub, and then I swapped them all for a plane ticket. Love I thought was smaller than a wingspan. Thought I could outrun it because I can sprint faster than most boys can. And so I ran to Brazil, the land of romance. I promised myself to keep still and wait for a second chance with someone 10 times better looking than you. Because you were the only person I'd ever lain with, and I needed to prove that I was laneless and that I didn't need you. So Jeff, with his washboard chest, serenaded me and made me feel something again for a week or two. But he didn't have an alcove in his shoulder blade carved in the shape of my forehead, where we fit together like the hinges on a folded chessboard, and pawns were sent to die for our love. And people played trumpets in the street and covered that same refrain mixed with K-Chassa cane liquor that circled around again and again, returning to the same story. That same day, you started smoking cigarettes. Spinning ash, what the hell was that about? Staining the words that came out of your mouth a different pigment. I didn't know you anymore and I wanted to wash clean of it. So I stand in showers waiting for poems to come. While masturbating, I'm waiting with bated breath for someone to save me from this mess. I mean, I know that I'm an independent woman blessed to stand on my 2 feet and march to my own drum. I'm not a damsel in distress. But I never said it was painless. It rains less on this side of the last 4 years. But I still feel fear dripping from the deepening creases that corner my eyes. Nearly 70 kilograms worth of me trembles at the thought that I've pulled the short straw, that other men will only ever eye me, my cellulite thighs, and sometimes I smile because I'm trying to hide behind words that rhyme. I don't really know anything besides the seconds of time that have passed by. And I'm ashamed. Because despite every bomb blast, war, or injustice, it's just this feeling I've claimed. Love, I say, that's certain to make me cry. You had a rope swing in your backyard, tied to a trunk up high, that swung out across the stream and stringy bark trees to freedom, and then swung back into your arms every single damn time. Once you asked me to kiss you when she was in the room, and I turned my head embarrassed, like a blind eye to receive my abandonment on cue. But you were right. She's just like you. And I'm forgetful and forgiving, I swear. Despite this poem, I care about your suspended truths. Like in cartoons, the coyote's gone and flipped all my road signs. But it's okay. This time when I run off the edge of the cliff, instead of trying to stay and scramble, I'll take my leave. I'm coming clean.